Okay, perfect. So yeah, just let me know if you guys have any questions that come up. Tonight we are going to be talking about open houses. A lot of this content actually comes from an open house playbook that I'm happy to send over to you guys if you haven't seen that. Keller Williams puts together a lot of playbooks, which are really, really nice. It's basically play by play of the actual topic. So we're going to cover some of that in the open house class tonight. So first of all, this just kind of talks about what we're going to cover. So obviously we want to talk about the purpose of doing open houses, why that's so important, understanding doing what we call as a 7th level open house. So there's definitely different ways to do open houses. Sticking one sign in the yard, praying that people come in is one level. And then we want to teach you the 7th level, which is just obviously taking it to a completely different level so that you can really turn it into business. And then we also are going to talk about how to generate and follow up on leads from the open houses as well. So that's what we're going to cover tonight. And then if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to cover that as well. So why do we do open houses? So I thought this was very interesting. The first open house was held in 1910. So since then, real estate agents all over the world have continued to host them as a way to sell their listings and meet future buyers and sellers. According to the 2021 Home Buyers and Sellers Generational Sellers Report, 53% of all home buyers sourced information about a property at an open house. So it doesn't say that they necessarily bought that, they did receive information. So a lot of it could just be working with realtors, more information about the neighborhood, about schools. They're gathering a lot of information by coming to the open house. So I would say the number one reason that you guys want to do open houses is to pick up future buyers and sellers. That's like the number one reason. A lot of times the open house does not get sold by holding an open house. We obviously want to, have our sellers be happy. The goal is we're going to do that. But I get asked a lot, especially for newer agents, why would I want to do an open house when it's not even my listing? And the whole purpose of that is to generate future buyers and sellers. And if you do it right, you can pick up a lot of leads from an open house. So that's why we're doing them. So this is what we're going to break down is the 5 steps to doing an open house. We're going to talk about how to pick out the right house. You can do that by holding your own listings. We can do it by holding other people's listings, new to market, low inventory. And I'm going to break these down a little bit more as we go through this. How to create marketing materials, what you need to take with you, and then actually marketing the open house, how to do that as well. Getting ready for the open house, and then obviously covering follow-up. So those are the 5 steps of generating business by doing an open house. So this is from the actual playbook. So this comes straight from Keller Williams training. So picking the right house. So although any listing can be held open, you do want to choose a property that puts you in the best position to meet the most motivated buyers. Again, we're trying to pick up as many leads as we possibly can through the open house. Hold on, I need to let somebody in. There we go. So we do want to pick a good house. We don't want to just, not every house is really good to do an open house on, although I would say doing them, it still gives you a very good excuse to do the marketing, generate leads, but you do want to pick a good open house if you can. So many sellers love the idea of having an open house. There's no one better to speak about the home to a prospective buyer than the actual listing agent. So if you do have listings, you do want to do open houses. That's going to help put you in position to get feedback. So that's the other thing is when you are doing open houses, even for other people, you definitely want to receive feedback. I'm going to show you some feedback cards tonight. That's a really good way to collect information for your database and provide feedback to the listing agent or the seller. So we definitely want to do that. If you don't have your own listings, we want to reach out to the Market Center, which is the office, about hosting open houses on their own. And I know I've talked to a few of you guys about doing this, but one of the best ways to do it is really just posting in the Facebook pages that you want to host an open house, and a lot of people will let you do it. So do you have feedback form? Oh, yes, Dakota. Yes, I will share the feedback form. I have a couple of them. So yes, I will definitely get those to you. So yeah, super important that we're doing that. If you do not have your own listings, you can, let us know, talk to myself and Lori, that's just letting us know you are in the market to do open houses. We get people, I know this week, if you haven't received it, we sent a text out. We have several open houses available for this weekend. So if you want one this weekend, let us know. Or you should have received a text on who to contact for those. So they come to us usually first, or if you post in the Facebook pages, they will reach out to you first. So my recommendation is introducing yourself on those pages and doing it maybe on like Sunday night or Monday morning. That way, as people take listings throughout the week, or maybe they picked it up over the weekend, you get to be the first one to say, hey, I'm available next weekend. I would love to do the open house. The more time we have to market the open house, the better it's going to be. So the sooner you can get it, the better. Yes, Amber, the text went out already. I think it went out yesterday. And I can pull it up and give you more information. If you didn't get it, I'll forward it to you. But if you did not get the text, I need to know that as well, because we want to make sure you're getting our text that we send out. Comes out from a 435 number. So Amber, if you don't get our text messages, let me know. I'm gonna find it really quick. Yeah, I believe it came out. Yep, it came out yesterday. Actually, it would have just went to the South Valley agents. So Ruby, Amber, you guys are in the Utah Realtors. The reason it only came out to South Valley, so I apologize for that, is these properties are in the South Valley office. So you have to do, that's the other key thing too, is with a lot of the new regulations, you have to hold the open house for someone else in the market center that your license is held in. So that's why you guys did not get that. So Dakota probably got it. Dana probably got it from being in South Valley. But Amber and Ruby, I would put in your Facebook pages that you guys want to do open houses. And if not, if you haven't done that or running out of time, let me know if you want to do one and I can reach out to the leadership for you. But that's usually the best way. Yeah, Dakota, I'm looking at the comments right now, you guys. So yes, technically you're not allowed to do that. And that's because we do not have buyer broker agreements in place. But the office has listing agreements in place and you are licensed under that broker. So that's why you're allowed to do it, but only in the office where your license is held. Any questions on that or even that topic? Of making sure we're doing open houses in the right office. Okay, cool. So new to market homes, those are also a really good open house opportunity. So these are homes that have just been listed. So those are ideal. People are going to be excited to see those coming on the market. You typically will have good traction, good traffic coming through. It gives you a really good excuse to go out and share with the neighbors that we've taken a new listing. Talking to the neighbors about the new listing is going to help you get more business and pick up those listing leads. So there's a statistic, and I don't know the exact one, but there's a statistic, and if you drive through a neighborhood, you can see this happen. So what happens is when a sign goes up in a yard, if you watch the neighborhood, you'll see 3 or 4 more signs pop up in the next 30 days. And the reason for that is a lot of times people will see, oh, well, my neighbor's selling their house and they're selling it for 500,000. My house is better. Maybe I can sell it for 550, something like that. So you will see when you go through a neighborhood, when one sign goes up, a couple more are going to go up pretty quick. So the idea behind these new to market homes and getting out there and door knocking or making phone calls and talking to these neighbors is you want to be the one who's going to pick up that new listing lead. So new to market are really, really good. Other good ones too. So we're going to kind of cover some of these, but as far as new to market, I would also say anything that has a price adjustment would be considered kind of new to the market. What's going to happen if somebody lowers their price and you do the open house that weekend? It will pop up in the MLS almost like a new listing. It's going to go into people's listing alerts as kind of like a brand new listing because it has a new price. So price adjustment. So if somebody puts in Facebook, hey, I just lowered a price on this house. Do you want to do an open house? That would be another really good opportunity. Low inventory neighborhoods. So obviously it's hard to sell a house if there's 20 other houses for sale as well. But if you can go into a neighborhood where there's not a lot of inventory and this house pops up, maybe it's a really desirable neighborhood where people are wanting to move in there. And no houses ever go up for sale. If you find one that does, that's a really good way to do an open house. Mid-range price homes. So most people are looking for those. Those are usually the most affordable. So you've got people who might be looking to purchase their first home. They might be looking to downsize, things like that. So mid-range price homes are a really good opportunity as well. And also choosing the best day and time. I know this was a question that came up this morning on our call. Those of you that have done them, I think Dakota, you've done quite a few. Amber, I think you've done a few. Michelle, you've done some. So where are you guys finding the most success as far as picking times? Have you determined that yet or done enough to know? I'm just curious what you guys are
I
seeing.
like I like 12 to 3.
12 to 3. And are you doing them on Saturdays?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great time. Any other thoughts on times?
Yeah, I do the same. So between 12 to 2, I do notice though that usually there's a lot more traffic in the afternoon. So closer to when you're about to pick up and close up
Yep.
the house and everything, that's when a bunch of cars pull up. So maybe later on during Saturday may be a better option, but I do tend to notice that.
Yes, I feel like that's just kind of like Murphy's Law or something. I don't know. But yeah, if you try to
Mhm.
leave 2 minutes early or pack up, somebody will come walking in the door. So
Yeah.
don't pack up early. But yeah, so this is, according to a lot of interviews that Keller Williams has done with people to say that Monday through Friday from 5 to 7 is one of the best times. And obviously you're catching people coming home from work. Maybe they're running out to the grocery store for dinner. They're finishing up dinner. So 5 to 7 is really good. I've actually heard people doing like, a random Wednesday from 3 to 5. Then you're picking up a lot of people who could be heading out to pick up their children from school or heading home from work and they haven't got home yet. So I kind of like the idea of 3 to 5. I've seen people do open houses 11 o'clock on a Wednesday and had success. My motto for open houses is it really only takes one. So if you can get one good person in the door that's willing to talk to you, you can pick up a really good lead, one buyer, one seller, and this is a success. So don't get hung up on the fact that, you didn't have 20 people through or 10 people through. It really only takes one good solid person to pick up a good lead. So I like to say choosing the best time and day really is going to be when you're going to do it. So the key to the open house is more around the activities that you're going to do, not so much the time you're holding it. I like to do mine. Usually I do mine like 11 to 1, 11 to 2, something like that. And we're going to talk about, showing up early and planning on leaving late. And that's for the reasons Michelle just said. So guaranteed, I've had times where, I did open houses kind of in a distant place, like up in the one I did kind of far away was in Ogden. And I was running a little bit late and I showed up and there were cars there waiting for me. That's a horrible feeling. So you want to show up early. You never want to be unprepared because we're going to talk about preparing the home. So you want to get there early. And I would say at least 30 minutes early. I know some agents that show up an hour early to prepare. And we'll talk about preparation. So plan on going early and plan on staying late because the people will be running in. They'll say, oh my gosh, I know you're closing up at 1. I tried so hard to be on time, and they'll take the next 20, 30 minutes. So plan on hanging out for at least another hour after your advertised time. Any other questions on that, on how to pick a house and picking time? And then you'll see on the bottom here, it says you'll want to have your ideal listing picked by Monday or Tuesday. So that's in a perfect world. Yesterday was Wednesday and we started sending out notices that we had some available. And that's really because we are relying on the agents who take the listing throughout the week to come to us because they want us to have people hold the open houses for them, but it never fails. It's later in the week than we would like. You can still have good success picking up an open house on a Thursday or Friday. It's just more ideal because you have more time to advertise. So that's why I always recommend putting your name out there Sunday, Monday, beginning of the week so that you can have the best opportunity. Creating marketing materials. So you don't need a ton of marketing materials and they're super easy to make. But the nice thing with this is having something that people can take that has your information on it. It actually has some of the information regarding the house. Putting like a QR code or a way to capture their information is a really good idea on the flyer. And then also what we've already mentioned is collecting feedback. So 2 purposes to the flyer. Obviously, we're going to invite people. So it's a warmer invite. If you show up at someone's door and you're handing them an open house flyer, that's a little bit better than you just knocking on the door and saying, hey, I'm an agent, I'm selling a house, and we're going to do an open house, right? Just looks more professional that you do have an invitation. And then the second is to have the information for people to take. I also feel like it's a good way to slow people down if you're like, you know, because they're going to want to run through the house kind of fast. Our goal is to slow them down so we can gather their information, start a conversation, start building rapport with them. So grabbing a flyer, handing it to them, maybe pointing out a few things on the flyer, you're slowing them down so that they're willing to talk to you a little bit more. And then the key points on the flyers. So photos of the home, super important. Details about the home, your contact info. It's always a good idea to have a lender's info on here and a call to action. So those of you that have done this before, what is a call to action you've been using? Anything that you've put on your flyers to get them to act on something? No? Okay. Call to action, a good idea for call to action could be scan this QR code for a free home evaluation. Scan this QR code to be entered into a $50 gift card for Home Depot. Ask me about market. So they've put a few call to actions in here. Ask me about the market. And I love the ask me about my price reduction list. So that basically you can run lists off the MLS of say the last 7 days of any property that's had a price reduction. You can email this out or you could create an actual list that you're giving to these people. It kind of makes them feel like they're the first to know that something's happening. So anytime you can offer somebody something that they think they can't get from somebody else, they're more likely to sign up for it. So I do really like the price reduction list. So you can say, hey, anytime a home in the neighborhood, the price is reduced, I'll let you know first. You can get on my list. So that's a really good one. I also think it's good to have a preferred lender's information. And more importantly, a lot of the lenders we work with, they will actually create these flyers for you if you want, if you're partnering up with a good lender. And a lot of them will put loan information on there. So like own this home for $2,500 a month. Ask me how, something like that. Then they can give different options. Hey, if your rate is this much, your payment will be this much. If you put down this much, your payment will be this much. So a lot of times that's information that they want. So if you have that out there on the flyer, you're just helping that buyer that much more. And then you can, you know, cement the lead by saying, let's see which one of these programs you qualify for. So any questions on the flyers or where to go to make them? A lot of these you can do in Canva. Canva's super easy. Command is our system. The one thing I love about Command that makes it super easy is we do have what's called the Keller Williams listing service. So say Dana was going to do Dakota's listing. So Dana, you don't have the photos of Dakota's listing. So what you would need to do is you'd have to reach out to Dakota. She'd have to download the photos, send them over to you, something like that. Using Command, as long as the property is listed, all you have to do is type in the MLS number and all the photos will download right to you and right to the flyer. So it makes—
That's cool. Where do you do that on Command?
I can show you. I'm going to write that down and I'm going to show you. It's super easy, but it's in the KWLS.
Okay.
So I will show you that. It makes it so easy to make flyers. So I'll show you.
Yeah, because I've been saving them all the photos individually, like off the MLS.
Oh yeah, you don't have to do that. If you're using Command, you don't have to do that.
That's awesome.
I'll show you how. But any other questions on flyers?
I had one with the QR codes. How would we go about setting that up and like that? Is there like a specific site, or I guess I haven't gotten to
You
that
can
part.
do it on Canva.
Yep.
Oh, you
That's what I
can?
was gonna say. Yep, you can make a QR code on Canva.
Okay, sweet. No, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, you can make a QR code on Canva. Get familiar with Canva. You guys do get a free account. Canva, so like the screen that you're looking at here, I made this on Canva. It's just a really user-friendly marketing tool, and you can do a lot for free. I don't pay for an account. Everything I do on there is free, and you guys get free accounts. So it's just canva.com. And in your sign up email with all your logins and passwords, you should have the information on there. Comes from Scott Leroy. Dakota, it's on the bottom of the sidebar in Canva where you do the text boxes, etc. Yep. So QR codes are not hard to make. They're super effective. People use them all the time. So I always recommend putting a QR code on there. Behind the QR code, you can do like a fill in information straight into command, which would be nice because then there's no data entry. It just goes right into command. Or you could do like a Google form. So I really like Google Forms. I use them a lot for, say, events, or I'm collecting data, I'm collecting information. I use a QR code that's attached to a Google form. So there's a lot of little tools that you'll use along the way, but also command has so much inside of it. So get really familiar with command. Cool. Any other questions on flyers? Okay. The other question that I thought you might have was contact info. So even if this is not your listing, if you have permission to do the open house, you can put your contact info in there. So you're basically going to advertise this property as though it is your listing. It's always a good rule of thumb to give credit to the listing agent. You know, you could put courtesy of, so say like, the example I gave before, so Dana's doing Dakota's, you could say it'll have all Dana's information all over the flyer, your picture, your name, your phone number, and it could very small on the bottom say listing courtesy of Dakota. Something like that. That's just really a courtesy and it will keep you out of hot water. It's more important when you're advertising someone else's listing, more important than doing an open house. But just so you know, even if it's not your listing, you can have your contact info on the flyer. Okay. So a registration sheet, super important that you have this. So you can see here's two recommendations. One is for a paper registration sheet and one is for a digital landing page sheet. You can also create that in command. I personally like the paper registration sheet. Could be my age, I don't know, but I do love to be able to hand somebody a clipboard with a pen and just say, hey, the seller has asked that you, the seller has asked to know everybody who comes through their house. And if you hand somebody a paper and a pen, it's just instinct. They're going to do exactly what they're told and they're going to fill it out. If you hand somebody, you know, an iPad or a laptop, I just feel like they're less likely to give you as much information. But it really is, you know, everyone's going to be different. Sometimes I get mickeymouse.com on my paper registration as well. Other tips that I do with the paper registration is I always put like my mom's name as the first guest. So it'll say her name and I fill it out completely. First name, last name, email address, phone number. And I joke, but it's true. It really is kind of monkey see, monkey do. So if the first person just writes Teri and nothing else, the second person's going to write Susie and nothing else. If the first person is completely filled out, the second person is likely to fill the whole thing out or more than they would have if they just see one name. So if you pay attention to that, it's pretty interesting. So what happens? So I'll do my mom's name first because her name's different, her last name's different than mine. Fill it out completely. If somebody does come in and just writes Teri and nothing else, then the third person, I'm going to write my sister's name and fill it completely out. And I just do that so that I'm, you know, subconsciously teaching these people we need all your information. And the other thing is just ask. So a lot of people ask me, how do you gather information? If you're doing open houses and not getting information, it truly is a waste of time. So it's super important that you're gathering their information so you can follow up with them. But the biggest key is just asking them. And if you get pushback, if they're just saying, oh, I'm just going to run through really quick, I don't really want to put this. I always push back and just say, you know, the seller has asked that anybody who walks through the home registers. Because this is somebody's home. This isn't like, you know, it's open, yes, but it's truly someone's home. So the seller can ask us to do anything they want. The seller can demand that we don't let anyone through. That's all very reasonable. So if you just kind of push back and say the seller has said, then they usually will do it for you. Has anybody had any issues getting people to sign in information?
There was a guy that said he just works with like a real estate attorney, and he just refused. And so, I mean, I didn't want to be super pushy, so I just let it be. But yeah, there's been a few people that are really pushy, or some of them do say, oh, I have an agent, they just didn't come with me. So then I just ask them to write their agent's information down.
Yep. Okay. That's exactly what I was going to say. So if somebody said that to me and they were like, oh, I'm working with an attorney or I'm working with an agent, I would grab the clipboard and I would say, great, what's their name? Like you kind of just, you're the authority in the house. I also recommend that you're putting your, I'm looking at my front door, that you're putting your table or you're putting your clipboard or something near the door. So it's almost like you're the guard and they cannot get through unless they fill it out. So even if they like don't fill it out, I would pick it up and just say, okay, great, I'll do it. What's your name and what's your agent's name? Because you really are just putting your foot down. You're kind of showing them the authority that you're the gatekeeper, and you really can say that they cannot come through if you wanted to. So I'm with you, Michelle. I don't push too hard. I will push a second time and do exactly what you did and just say, who's your agent and what's their name? But most people are pretty respectful and most people will do it. So, okay. Scorecards. So these are basically the feedback sheets that we talked about. So scorecards are really a good way, and I have a couple different ones I can show you guys. But really, you don't want them to be too big. You can put them like 2 to a sheet or 4 to a sheet. You know what I mean? Like 4 to a sheet. So they're small, they look like cards, and basically you're asking them for feedback. You're like, hey, we're trying to rate our home today. I want to give feedback to the seller. What do you think of the price? And you can just do it 1 through 5. They can circle it. So they're going to put a 3. What were your favorite features? They'll fill it out. People are way more excited to give you their opinion than they are to give you their name. So if you combine these two together, that has, hey, here's a scorecard. I would love for you to fill this out. Have them put their name, their phone number, their email, and then the scorecard, and hand it back to you when they're done viewing the home. You're going to be able to collect more information. So these are you can make them as cute as you want. You can do whatever, but these are basically all the questions I would put on there. It doesn't need to be huge, just needs to be, what do you think of the price? What do you think of the location? 1 to 5, what are your favorite features? Something like that. I saw a question come through. Do you have a scorecard you could? Yes, I do. Yep, I'm going to show that to you. I think it's actually in this playbook too. Cool. Okay. So those are basically the materials. That's all that you need. Outside of the marketing materials, I would also say you do want to have some treats in there. Another reason to have treats is to slow people down. So if you have food and you're like, oh, hey, grab a water, grab a cookie, here, put everything out on like a table, make it really nice so it's inviting and exciting for people to come through. I typically, ever since COVID hit, I don't do homemade things anymore. A lot of people won't take them. I will do individually packaged. So either cookies, or I just do like, I'll go get a big Costco box of like the chips and the Oreos, just the little mini things. It's also very helpful for parents with children. So if the parents are distracted, they're not gonna be able to answer your questions as you're trying to figure out their motivation. It's easy to be like, oh, would it be okay if your child has a snack, and give them a snack? But I do the little mini water bottles. I don't do the big ones because I find that people will take a couple drinks and set them somewhere. So the little ones, they typically finish and throw away. Just my thought. But I would definitely put snacks out. You're going to put your flyers out. You're going to have your pens. And then any kind of swag. So I think swag is always fun. You could have fancy pens with your name. You could have tape measures. A lot of times people will get in a house, and especially if it's vacant, and they're gonna say something like, oh, my furniture would never fit in this room. And you're like, oh, really? Let's measure it. And you give them a tape measure. Because sometimes people just can't visualize things, even though it's like a standard size room, they just instantly think it's too small. So having a tape measure there is helpful. Having candy, just things that you can give away. Drawings are always fun. Like, hey, enter for a $50 gift card. Have a little fishbowl. Get creative, whatever you want to do. I've seen people do spinning wheels before, spin to win. The whole idea is you're slowing them down. So when you get them slowed down, you can start asking, hey, are you looking at this home for you or someone else? Are you just a neighbor in the area? Have you thought about selling your home? Where are you looking to move? All those questions we want to ask, but if they move too fast, you can't get the questions out. So those are all things that I like to take to slow people down. Also, I would take cleaning supplies, especially on days like today where it's, muddy and wet. It never fails. Their feet will get on the, in the entry, and I'll need to wipe it up. Booties to cover their feet on days like today is a really good idea. A cute sign that says, please remove your shoes would be nice. So think of all the things that you're seeing when you're going into open houses, and go to a lot of them so you can see the different ideas. But also remember, you're protecting the home. So how can we protect this house? So paper towels, good idea. Toilet paper is a good idea. Kind of make yourself a little kit that you can leave in your car that has all this stuff in it. And then you just pull it out each time, make like a tote or something. Questions on other things as far as getting the house ready and taking things with you? Or any other ideas? I love to hear other people's ideas. No? Okay. So now we want to market the open house. So that is obviously the key, is marketing the open house. So inviting your database, especially as you're a newer agent, this is super important. So we're going to push you guys to build these databases, right? How many people do we want in our database? Who knows? See if you guys are still listening to me. 201, yes. 201 is the first goal that we have for you as far as building your database. Yes, Letitia got it too. 201, side note, and I'm going to show you the actual data of where the 201 comes from. I'm going to show that to you today. But knowing that we build a database of 201, we can generate about a 10% return if we're marketing properly. That equates to $100,000 of gross commission or more is what our data is showing inside of our command system. Anybody with 201 or more that's marketing properly is making an average income of over $100,000. So that's why it's our first goal. But building this database, now you have somebody to market to. So every open house that you do, you should start first with your database. And what this is doing is this is really showing those people that you're trying to get business from, friends, family, coworkers, kids, parents, all of that. We want to show signs of success. So you're probably starting off doing open houses on listings that aren't yours, but they have no idea that they're not yours. So all they're seeing is, oh my gosh, Dakota's doing another open house. Oh my gosh, Dakota took another listing. So they just start seeing it over and over and over. They have no idea that this isn't your house. It just equates to she sold another house. He sold another house. So inviting your database is huge. Inviting the neighbors, we've talked a little bit about that. Inviting your neighbors, the biggest reason for that is so you can talk to them about them potentially selling. These homes are going to go under contract and they're going to sell, and you're still going to get phone calls, and you need to find other houses to sell to people, and the neighbors are the best way to do it. So this is recommending that you're showing up a day or two before the open house to do the door knocking. Go out and invite the neighbors to come to a private showing just for neighbors. Invite them to come 30 minutes early for a sneak peek. That way they just feel special. They feel like it's a different invite. They get to come through, and then you kind of know who the neighbors are and who the general public is if you separate them like that. So you're giving them a sneak peek. Invite them to bring their friends, their family, anybody they think would maybe want to move into the neighborhood. And then you can ask them for those referrals. And then the day of or a couple days before, you want to door knock the home. So we recommend at least 20 homes. So you're doing 10 on one side and 10 on the other side. and then circle prospecting the entire area. So circle prospecting can be done either door knocking or making phone calls. So just so you guys know, we do have access to get you guys names and phone numbers of the circling around the open house. So that's why it's important that you get these, you know, sooner in the week than later. So we can pull you names and phone numbers. You'll have time to call, you'll have time to door knock, all of that stuff. The marketing is huge. That's what's going to drive traffic. So inviting your neighbor or inviting your database, inviting the neighbors. Here's a little bit of a conversation. So when you are talking to people at the door, here is a script that you could say, or even if you're doing the phone calls, this would be a really good script. So take a screenshot of that if you want, or it will be, I've taken a screenshot of who's attended tonight, and I will make sure that you guys get a copy of the open house playbook if you don't already have it. And this is inside of there. The scripts are in there. Okay, posting to social media. This is awesome. This is a really good way. I know a lot of people get leads by posting things on here, and it's not even necessarily a lead to the open house. It's again a sign of success that you're the people you know that you're on social with, they start seeing you as, you know, the local realtor. So putting information, you could use the same flyer in Command, or there's social media templates inside of Command that you can use. Same information, call to action, all that important stuff. Click here to get a sneak peek, something like that. You could do videos, creating live videos when you're there at the property. Get real creative on social media. There's a lot you can do. The whole point of this open house is taking advantage of having a listing you can market. So get really creative on that. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media platforms you guys you're liking to use or you have followers on, post your open houses on them. Here's a social post. So you guys can run ads inside of Command as well, and they're pretty inexpensive to do that. So here's a sample just of what a social post would look like. I also think it's a really good idea to post something like this into like Facebook Marketplace or any kind of like shop that you're using on social media, where you can advertise things. You can also put these in here. So a lot of people use LinkedIn. So wherever you're posting any of this stuff, post it everywhere. Wherever you are on social media, post it and get information from people. Questions on that? Social media or door knocking, making phone calls? Any questions there? Okay. So now getting ready to host the open house. So now step number 4 is getting the signs out. Super important that we have signs going through the neighborhood, that you have directional signs pointing in the neighborhood if it's a hard house to find. If it's kind of on a busy street, that's ideal. You're going to have, you know, a couple signs on the road and people will know where to go. This playbook is recommending 20 to 40 signs. What are your guys' thoughts on that? 20 to 40 signs. Who's ever used 20 signs on an open house?
That's expensive.
It is expensive. It's a lot, and that would take a long time to do. So the idea is the more signs, the better. I don't really know many people who do 20 to 40 signs, but again, we're talking about a 7th level open house. Most of us probably do somewhere between a 5 and 6 level open house. 7th level open house is 20 to 40 signs. So yes, it can be expensive. You can get cardboard signs for about $15 a piece. Just so you guys know that are maybe a little bit newer, we do have signs we will check out to you for the weekends that will let you guys borrow, but you're getting like four signs. Your front desks will check out signs to you, typically about 4 signs. So we don't get anywhere near 20 to 40, but the more the better is the point. All of those signs, just so you know, they are first come, first serve, and you do have to fill out a sign out sheet and make sure you return them by Monday at the latest, so we have them for the next weekend. But first come, first serve. So the second you know you're going to do an open house, call up your front desk and say, hey, can I reserve 3 or 4 signs or however many they're willing to give you? If they don't have any, make sure Lori or myself know that you need some. We hold an inventory for each office, but we don't have a ton for each office. So first come, first serve, let us know as quickly as you can. Directional signs, those are really just the ones like with the arrows. I usually will drive into the property a couple different ways that I think people would go and kind of see where do I feel like I need to take a left? Where do I feel like somebody needs to take a right? Just make sure that they know how to get there. Also, putting a sign in the front yard, especially if there's more than one listing in the neighborhood, you want to make sure that you have something that says, hey, this house is open today, so they know to come in. So you have like the A-frames, you have just the stick in the ground. There's a lot of different ones. Start building your inventory. The more you spend on the signs, the better, because they'll last longer. But also, you know, you're only using these for a few hours at a time. So the cheaper ones are fine because you're taking them in and out. You're not necessarily, we don't want people to steal your nice signs. If you were leaving a sign out for a long time, that could be a concern, but you're only using these for a few hours. So any sign works, great, is my point. Starting the night before is really good. You can do that door knocking, get those signs out. You can hang a rider that says open house Saturday 2 to 4, whatever your time is, just so as people are driving by, they know to plan to come back on the weekend. So the more marketing you can do, the better. I can't say that enough. Questions on signs? Anything else you guys have done that's worked well or didn't work so well? Sometimes balloons are a blessing and a curse. I do like them. I love any attention you can bring to the house. If it's like a sideways snow or a hailstorm, balloons can be a nightmare. All of this takes time though. So the biggest thing to remember is setting all of this up takes time. This is, you can see where you need to show up 30, 45 minutes early to get this done. You don't want to be trying to put a sign in the yard and have somebody waiting to get in the house. So be prepared. That's the biggest thing I can recommend. Arriving early, talked a lot about that. Arriving early before the open house starts, you could do like that live video, walk around, post it to social media, send the video through your database, text it to people that you know that might maybe be interested in the area, any buyer leads that you have. Get creative. The videos really are catchy, so take advantage of this. Michelle, actually you're on here, yay. Michelle is one this week that she went through an open house, took advantage. She was getting, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was like getting her nails done and decided, hey, I'm here. I'm going to go make a video of a model home. Made a video of the model home, posted on social media and picked up a lead. And the lead wasn't even from that house, right, Michelle?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was, yeah, I wanted to go look at new homes and builders. And so I did. And thankfully, well, fingers crossed, hopefully I get the listing, but potentially it would be a listing. So he would sell and then buy a new construction home. So a 2-for-1, hopefully.
Oh my gosh. And let's just play the averages. Average home is a little over 500,000. What your commission could be, all because you took 3 minutes, 5 minutes to make a video. So
Yeah.
the potential of this is huge. Go to each other's open houses. Like there's no reason if Michelle was holding an open house that she doesn't care if I walk in and say, hey, Michelle, can I take a video since I'm here? She's not going to care. Model homes, you can go in, ask the builder's agent, hey, I just wanted to see if I could advertise this and try to get buyers. Would you be okay? Nobody's going to tell you, no, I don't want you to bring a buyer to me. So ask permission, but also just know that those videos are awesome. And the more you do it, the more people just see you selling real estate. So I love that you're on here, Michelle, because I was going to share that tonight.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
good job. Good job. I know everybody else is doing wonderful things too, but that was super fresh on my mind. Okay, and then basically it's time to host the open house. So people are coming in and out, introducing yourself, asking them to sign in. You can see here's a small introduction script on here that basically just says, what brings you in today? I like to ask a lot of questions, so get really good at asking questions. Some of the questions I ask are, great, what brings you in today? Are you looking for yourself? Are you looking for someone else? Because sometimes you'll hear like, oh, my daughter is looking for a home. Great. Now you can talk about the daughter. You know, oh, I'm looking at this house because I'm thinking of selling my own house. Well, great. Has anybody got you the value of your home? So depending on your questions is where the conversation's going to go. I love the next question. What we typically find that people come to open house is either to look for a home or find the value of their home. Do you live nearby? So again, you're making them tell you that whether they're a buyer or a seller lead. So get really good at asking questions. You know, as they're walking around, just to kind of give you an idea, like safety first, you never want to get cornered in any kind of a room, never get cornered in the basement, know where all the doors are, keep them open so you can get in and out safely. You know, you do have to be careful with open houses, but I will kind of hover a little bit and I'm asking them questions. So based on these, oh yeah, we're in here today. We're actually just here from Colorado. I'm going to talk to them as we walk through the house. Oh, so what part of Colorado? Trying to build that rapport. Oh my gosh, my uncle lives there. That's awesome. Are you guys moving here for work? Just building that rapport. You've got to get really good at asking questions in order to get people to open up and talk to you. And then listen too. So, you know, what did you like about the house? Is there anything you didn't like about the house? Getting them to talk to you, all comes by those questions. So, any questions on actually hosting the open house and how that's done? You will find this is a very individual thing. That's why I recommend going to a lot of open houses so you can see how everybody handles them differently, different questions the agents ask. You'll go to some open houses and you will be floored. You're like, I cannot believe that person just hosted that open house. Or you'll be floored the other way, like, oh my gosh, I'm taking every single thing they did and I'm going to incorporate this into my next open house. So go visit people, take ideas, what to do and what not to do. Okay, so moving on to follow-up. So obviously we're trying to collect a lot of leads. So follow-up is the biggest thing. So we always say the fortune is in the follow-up. The most important thing you can do is follow up immediately with these people. So if you did a sign-in sheet and they didn't automatically go into your database, make sure you get them in your database immediately with as much contact info. Take their notes, and then I would say on top of that, turn on a smart plan. So the 36 touch smart plan is basically a monthly newsletter. I turn that on to anybody first that goes into my database, regardless if they're buyer, seller, friend, family, it doesn't matter. If I have an email and their name, they're getting that immediately. That way I know they're going to be followed up on at least once a month for the next year, and I don't have to worry about it. Contact everybody that attended the open house as soon as possible. So I'm doing this on Sunday, first thing Monday, if I'm not working on Sunday, just letting them know, you know, hey, I wanted to follow up with you, see if any other questions have come up. Maybe let them know it was really busy. We're expecting a couple offers. Did you have any interest? Things like that. If they didn't, you want to turn them into leads for something else, you know, so you could say something like, oh, okay, so that price range wasn't good. Well, we do have other properties that are closer to your price range. Would you be interested in me getting you into some of those homes? Would you be interested in me sending you some homes? Would you be interested in sitting down with me? So you're trying to close them at every point that you possibly can. So following up immediately. What is the lucky number for follow-up? How many times do we follow up with somebody before we even think about giving up on them?
7.
7. Yes, good job, Dakota. 7. So there is a statistic on this as well, and it's somewhere between 7 and 12 follow-ups before somebody will actually start to engage with you. And sadly, a lot of us as realtors, we will follow up 1 or 2 times, like at the most. Think about some leads you've gotten where you followed up and they didn't answer, and you followed up again, and then you gave up on them. You were like, oh, they don't want anything to do with me. So that has happened many times. Go at least 7 times before you consider giving up on the follow-up with them. That's a lucky number. So the following Monday, so again, same people you circle called or door knocked, go back out there, door knock again, provide feedback, offer a market analysis, ask for referrals. We're taking advantage of this listing. We want to use it as much as we possibly can. That one listing can turn into so much marketing for you. So take advantage of the open house. And then add follow-up plans to every single contact. So we have follow-up plans built for you that are super easy. You can play around in the smart plan library. There's open house lead follow-up plans. You can get real creative and make your own. I'm not that creative. I leave that to the marketing people and I just turn it on. All you have to do is turn it on and it's going to go for at least a year for you. So make sure everybody has that plan going. Questions on follow-up? Any questions on follow-up? So you have signs that you could borrow for this Saturday's open house with me. I only have 2 of the big signs. I believe we do, Dakota. I will have to double check. Have you checked with the front desk yet?
No, I didn't even know that you could borrow signs until you said it.
Oh, okay. Yes. So you can check with the front desk and I will also check our inventory. I have not been in the office for a very long time, so I have no idea what the inventory looks like, but I can double check.
Okay.
For you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's for this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dakota, you know where my office is. You're welcome to go in there. The signs are just in there. We do have a sign out sheet that's on, should be on the desk.
Okay.
You just want to make sure that they have your office logo because we do have logos for every office.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So make sure
The
there's,
KW South Valley.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I love, so you guys are doing an open house together.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Do them together. That's number 1, it's more fun. Number 2, it's safe. Number 3, you hold each other accountable. So I love.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to door knock and get better at that. So we're gonna learn
Perfect.
from each other, with each other.
Perfect. It's the best way. Okay. Any other questions on follow-up? Texting is a good way, texting, calling, emailing. So those 7 times that I'm telling you to follow up, doesn't have to be the same way. Figure out the communication form that they're going to respond to. Some people like emails. Some people will never answer the phone. Some people will never respond to a text. So you just never know. So try all forms of communication. Okay, so this is the 201. I wanted to show you guys this and why we push the 201 so much. So we have almost 180,000 agents across the world use, not all of them use Command, but a good majority of them use Command. And so this is pulling out the data from the Command and showing based on the stats of how many people they have in their database. You can see after you hit 201 that it just goes up, your income just goes up from there. So that is why 201 is like the first goal that we want to get you to. Because we really ideally would love all of our agents making 6 figures or more. And so that's why our first goal is to get you to 201. So just wanted to show you guys this graph. And then I love the quote by Gary Keller at the end that says, if you aren't hitting your goal, your database either isn't large enough or you aren't following up consistently. So lead gen, lead follow-up, 2 most important things you can do. And open houses give you the best excuse to lead generate, the best, easiest way to lead generate, way easier than just picking up the phone and calling random people. You have a good excuse to be calling them. So huge fan of open houses. Any other questions on the open house? I'm going to show you the KWLS and I'm going to show you the scorecard, but any other questions? Okay. Let me get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to go into Command. I'm going to show you the Design Center, which is pretty awesome. And I have somebody coming in my house right now, so my dogs are going to bark. So I apologize in advance. Okay, so if you come in here and you click on the red KW, it will open up all of these icons. We're going to go into Designs. And then you're going to come in here. These are my designs, so your front page may look a little different than mine, but you're going to click on this Create Design. And for now, we're going to do a print. We're going to do a flyer. So you can click Print and click Next. Takes a second. Okay, so you could do just listed. And then you'll see there's a lot of flyers. You could turn those into open house. Here's open house ones. I like to find one that has several photos. So we'll click on this. We're going to use this. And then if you come in here over on the left-hand side, you can see where it says KWLS. That's Keller Williams Listing Service. So say you guys are doing an open house on one of my listings, you can come in here, you can search either by the address, MLS number, listing agent, co-listing. So easiest way is like, oh, I'm gonna do one for Teri. This is a global system, so you wanna make sure you're looking at the Utah ones, or you know, there could be ABC Street in many states. I'm gonna type in my name. So you can see, look, Teri comes up. Oh, maybe I didn't switch the, yeah, by listing agent. I was like, wow, Teri's the street name. Okay, that didn't work. It has to be capital. Search by listing agent. There we go. Okay, so you can come in here. Some of these are old listings. That's interesting. So we'll just pick one of these listings, but let's just pick, we'll pick this one. So you just click select. And it automatically gives you all these photos. So then when you're creating this, all you have to do is you're gonna come in here and you can change the date, the time, you just double click, pretty easy. But with this, you just go like that, drop and grab. Skip that. So we're gonna go drop and drag. So you can see how easy the pictures are changing. Go, nope, I don't like that one. So that's why I like commanded using designs in here, because it just easily gives us all the photos and the information. So questions on that? Here's the details of the listing as well. So you can see price. This is sold, so.
Sorry,
obviously-
can you show us where you first got it from the command first page? I missed it, where you got into this.
Yeah, let me go back. I'm gonna click done. Go back into the design. I have a lot of commands, so let's see. So do you know how I got into the design section?
No.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
that's okay.
I've tried to play around with command, but there's like a lot.
And there are videos on,
Yeah, I've been trying to do the Marty Miller one.
yeah, and he's coming out with a new one, 9.0 version, but for now use the 8.0 version. And if you just go into his 66-day challenge and go right to like making a flyer, there'll be a walkthrough video of how to do this. So right over here on the KW, I just opened up designs,
Oh, okay.
and then I click on create design and I clicked print. You can do social, email, video. I did print.
Oh, that's cool. So it can make your videos and stuff for social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for.
And then I went to open house. So you can click open house and then you just pick a template. So pick the template, and then once you're inside the template, you can click on this KWLS and that's going to pull in the photos.
Oh, okay, so it's just basically gets you to a Canva kind of.
It's built on a Canva platform. So it's very
Oh.
much like Canva.
Oh,
Yep.
that's cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on that? I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to find our playbook. So if you come into Connect, there's a lot you can learn in here. So if you type in playbook, you'll see lots of playbooks. So in here, inside the playbook is the scorecard or the feedback sheet. They're going to be in this open house playbook. Let's see if I can just go straight to. You can see there's a lot of stuff in here. Find one I've emailed. Oh, gosh. Okay, so here's the open house playbook. So in here, you can see there's 30 pages and there's gonna be a lot of the stuff that you just saw tonight in here. If you get in here, here's a feedback. So here's an example scorecard, so you can use that. You can kind of create your own on Canva, but this is like a good example of what one looks like. I would make this smaller so that it's only like half a page each or even into 4. So that you're not handing out a ton of them and they're little, they fill them out and hand them back to you. Okay, does that answer all your questions regarding open houses tonight? Any other questions? Hey, you guys. Well, thank you for joining me. Let's see, somebody's asking a question. Is the KW affiliate website? I've not seen it before. Yes, there is one in command.
Dakota asked the question and you explained it, so thank you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Who is that?
Who's me?
Yeah. Who's talking?
I'm Nasser. We haven't met yet, but
Okay.
I've met Lori multiple times and stuff, so nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. I've seen your name, so you came through as a number. So I was just wondering who it was.
Oh, that's weird. What number is it?
That's okay.
It's not my name.
It's probably the start of your phone number. It says 18019.
Oh, I see that. Okay, that's weird. I'm on the computer. I guess I'm not logged in. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyway.
That's okay. Okay, I'm